What's up, gang? It's your boy Tyler, and thank you for watching the most trash show on YouTube, Garage Goons. Today, I wanted to do a little review for you guys, and I want to have full transparency, okay? Because it would be disingenuous if I said I've used this exact product before. I haven't used this one yet. If, in fact, it performs differently, I will make another video, erase this one or delete this one, and show sparring footage of this. But today, I wanted to talk about the best headgear for Muay Thai or kickboxing, okay? And I'll get into what that is, okay? So, without further ado, we have the Century Sea Gear. They're rebranding their stuff as Sea Gear now, and it's called the Revolution headgear. Now, what makes this headgear so special is kind of its design, okay? This is not like your typical headgear. So let me get into why this is the best for kickboxing, okay? First of all, I'll show you my normal headgear that I used before I got this one, and probably will still continue to use occasionally in training. It is your standard cheek guard, protective, title boxing headgear, and it comes with a chin strap underneath. Some of these nowadays have the bar underneath and secure just from the back. This one does both. It has the chin strap and it has the back. This is actually pretty comfortable when I put it on. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's a little tight on the head, but I forget about it once I start training in it. But the one thing that is kind of annoying is, like, even right now, I'm a little bit strained talking because I can feel these cheek guards pressing in on my jaw, and I don't want these things too loose because when you're training, you want them right up against your cheeks so they take the impact here to the face. The problem with this headgear, okay, is twofold. So very fast story time because I don't want to take up too much time with the review. In my first sanctioned amateur Muay Thai fight, my coach was under the impression, because he had fought for this organization before, that they would provide gloves, elbow pads, shin pads, and headgear. And this was the first fight that they stopped providing headgear, so we were shit out of luck. And to make matters worse, I did bring my headgear because I wanted to be prepared, but to make matters worse, they don't allow in amateur Muay Thai, if you're, well, in the States, it's IKF. There's also a kickboxing federation that I think is something else, but IKF is the big one. They don't allow cheek guards in that, which we did not know. I did not know. I learned that then. They said it has to be open face. So we were like, fuck. We need to find some headgear. We looked at local sporting stores, no sporting goods stores. No one was open. I was the last fight of the night. I was the main event. I went on at like 10:30 at night. No one was open. We were fucked. But luckily enough, we made friends with the guys that were also training on the blue corner, which was on our side, warming up on our side, and said, hey man, we didn't know, you know what I mean? We kind of got in this bad situation. Can we borrow your headgear? And they were cool enough to lend us Top 10 headgear. Top 10 is a brand that started out making the stupid, I don't want to call them stupid, but the really cheesy, spongy, really cheap foam Taekwondo headgear. They still make that type, but that type, all that is a spongy type foam, really cheap spongy type foam, sprayed with this smooth, thin, you've seen them, the shiny, ultra thin, ultra close to the head headgear that was used in like the 90s and early 2000s at Taekwondo tournaments. They have since changed their technology to make this polyurethane, almost like a rubber latex type material, to where it's not that cheap foam anymore. The whole thing is like this latex material. And that is, if you go watch my fight and you see, hey, that guy looks like he's wearing a funky helmet, that is basically the same exact headgear, but a different brand. The ones that did it first, Top 10, the originators, that this is. And I'm sure if I had them side by side, there might be some slight, design differences, but on my head and the way it's designed, it is the same exact headgear, and that's what I fought in. So I can speak from experience of clearly seeing what this company tried to either imitate, knock off, or take inspiration from, if we're being really lenient. And that's the top 10 headgear. Now, the reason I went with this one is because I Googled top 10 headgear, and you know how it goes. The bigger the company, the more they can afford to be at the top of the page of Google, and they have to pay for that spot. So when I Googled top 10 headgear, this one came up. It looked the same. I clicked on the image, and I was like, wait a minute, that's Century. That's not top 10. But it ended up being $40 cheaper. The top 10 was like $110 online for the same one I use in competition that I fell in love with. And this was $79.99. And I don't think it's going to stay that price for long, because Century has been, especially in the Taekwondo, karate, Waco, WAKO world. That's the organization that does like point sparring between the traditional martial arts, where you will see guys going in and sparring in their gis or whatever, like Karate Kid style sparring, right? And that's what almost all these fools use, are top 10. And now it seems like Century's been making the chest pads for Taekwondo and karate. Also competitor, the old school spongy type, just really cheap, headgear that they had before they went over to polyurethane and this like rubbery material. And now this has become the sport standard in that world. Now this is actually really catching on, because the popularity of Muay Thai has gotten so big that people are off just purchasing Thai brands. Okay? What I mean by that is, like 5 years ago in Muay Thai, everyone just wanted Fairtex everything, or Twins everything, or Windy everything, and just be all tricked out. And they make fantastic gear. But in competition, when you see somebody wearing something like this, right? And it goes right on their head. And look, it's not even strapped. I can't get this thing off. It's sticking on my head. It's like on there. You know what I mean? It's really, my head's uncomfortable right now because I'm still dealing with like a bruise and a little bit of a shiner from head kick from one of my guys from sparring on Friday. So it doesn't feel great right now, but this sits on your head. And the beautiful thing about the material is it is the same material on the outside as it is on the inside. So what does that mean for you? That means when you start to sweat, this won't slide around. The number one reason why I was dead set after my competition on using that one, after using this, is because this is great for about a round or two. And then once it gets a little bit of sweat, okay, maybe I eat a hook. Now it's like that. Maybe somebody catches me with an overhand. It's over my eyes now. Now I have to adjust my headgear with my boxing gloves on. So I'm fighting this thing. It's slipping all over. And also, it's one of those things where if you wear these all the time, you get used to it. And it's just one of those things where it stops bothering you. But these cheek guards, as protective as they are for your cheeks, I don't care who you are, it's in your peripheral vision. Like there's certain shots like uppercuts and kicks that it's harder for me to just see peripherally when I'm wearing this, right? Versus when I'm wearing this Century one or the top 10 version, right? This one, it's open face and it stays in place. It doesn't slide around. There is no, like I can look and kind of barely see out of the corner of my eye this headgear, okay? But that doesn't mean that it's, well, let me strap this on later. But that doesn't mean, that it's restricting my vision at all. It's not anything that's going to prevent me from seeing strikes. And the design of this is very unique. Well, I say unique and they totally ripped off top 10, but it feels the same. I can tell you from personal experience, this feels the exact same as top 10 and it's $40 cheaper, okay? So here's how this one works, okay? It's got a very unique system as far as how it tightens on the back of your head. And by the way, I'm sure you noticed by now, it's got breathing holes everywhere. This whole thing is very airy. It gets way less hot. Even though this whole top is open, this padding is like a blanket over your head. This does not feel like a blanket, okay? And you know what? I would say that this probably does a slightly better job of absorbing shots, in my opinion. But to me, why I'm telling you it's the best headgear for kickboxing / Muay Thai is because, at least for me personally, and best is subjective, right? But for me personally, I want to prioritize seeing and moving and having my equipment being one with me, not forgetting I have something on my head, forgetting I have shin pads on my shins, forgetting my boxing gloves are on my hands. You know what I mean? Like, I want my equipment to flow with me. If I move my head, I don't want to worry about my headgear slipping a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. If I bob and weave, or if I eat a shot, I don't want to have to worry about this turning around. Does this thing take shots well? Well, it's Waco approved. Here's the little WAKO badge approved on the back there. And I can't speak to this exact one yet because I haven't sparred in it. It just came in. But like I said, I fought my last fight, which you can go check out on my channel. And if you go to the last 10 minutes of that 30-minute video and you just want to see my fight, that's the headgear I'm wearing, the top 10 version. But it is the exact same as this one, okay? So that tells you kind of all you need to know about that. And I really love it. I don't think it absorbs shock. I think it does help, but I don't think it absorbs shots as good as this one here. But also, that's a sacrifice I'm totally willing to make for the streamlined, thin, low profile, stuck on my head design that this one has. And the fact that even though it's latex, which is obviously not super breathable, all these holes everywhere on the top, around the side, it actually breathes better and it doesn't heat up as much as the other one. Even though the other one has just as many openings, it still heats up faster, right? Let me go over the design of this. So this is what makes these so unique. If you look at this on the back, this right here is kind of the back adjustment for the back of your head. So if your head's a little fatter or a little bit thinner, these two sides pull in and this stays on the back of your head. See how it kind of can collapse around here? There's a groove in the back of this that this strap sits in. So how you put it on, if you want to fully adjust it, you can pull the strap out or you could cinch it up, okay? Pull it out, cinch it up. It sits in the groove here, okay? Once you get it to a tightness you like, okay, you put it on, you make sure it's still in the groove, you pull it, or ideally your coach pulls it, and then you strap it over, okay? So now, boom, that part is in. Make sure that strap is going in the channel on that back piece that goes in the middle. And then after that, simple Velcro strap, loops around the bottom piece right here, goes under your chin, okay? And Velcros to itself, okay? And no matter how sweaty you get, this does not feel good, okay? This is not as protective a headgear, just straight up. I'm just going to be honest. But nobody wears headgear in Muay Thai, in my opinion, to be protective. They wear it because the sanctioning body forces you, unless you have 4 or more fights, and your opponent agrees to a no headgear fight, okay? So you want to feel like you're wearing nothing at all, okay? This is the closest you're going to get to that, all right? It's a little tight, but you forget it's there, okay? It's breathable. It doesn't move at all. There's no shake at all. I can barely even hear it. I can barely even hear anything at all. It's basically stuck onto my head when I'm doing this, okay? The one thing I would say the top 10 has on this one is there are ear indentions on the inside of this. You have the ear strap protection here, so you're not going to pop an eardrum. But if you have ears that stick out a little bit like I do, it's a little less comfortable, and it's not the biggest ear pocket or void or whatever you want to call it on the inside of the headgear. So your ear might be pressed up against the actual inside of this, so you kind of have to squeeze it into the ear hole, okay? But once you get it in a spot that you like, you can now strap it. It's on there. It is on. It's not going anywhere. I took shots with this thing. I never had to adjust it at all. The guy I was fighting hit me with some good shots. Again, go check out that video. But this is $79.99 right now. And guys, I don't think it's going to be that price for long, because Century has been in the Taekwondo sport karate side of things for decades, and they go toe-to-toe with top 10 for the top 2 companies that issue gear that's Waco approved. And even in the Muay Thai community, guys are starting to just use the equipment that makes the most sense, whether it is a Thai brand or not. So if you're thinking about doing a PKB or a PMT and your number one priority is vision, I would say consider this, okay? Consider this. You got the Sentry mark up here. Okay, I'll show you the inside profile one last time of the helmet. See, here's the ear void right there. I would make that a little bigger because my ears aren't the biggest, but they're also not the smallest, so they don't sit perfectly in there. That's a little bit uncomfortable. But outside of that, it's basically the same exact thing as top 10. And you can kind of see, you know, this material is like a rubbery, malleable, maybe EVA, like yoga mat type material. Really good stuff, okay? And the straps, you don't really feel them once you put it on. And like I said, again, this is where all the innovation and stuff is. This back part, this back strap that sits with the channel right here, okay, that you feed the Velcro through. This is widening it and closing it around that is where the magic happens as far as a custom fit to your head, or a custom fit feel, I should say. But this is the Sentry version. They totally knocked off top 10. It is what it is. But if you want to get the exact same thing, but not spend 110 bucks and you want to spend 80, this is what you should go for. This is a size medium. My head's about 22 and a half, 23 inches. So this one, I was on the fence because they say up to 23 inches for medium, and large starts at 23 inches. So I wasn't sure, but I got the size down in case any one of my younger fighters that are teenagers are going to compete and they want to try this or wear this, because I think it's really going to help them out with their vision. Okay. Made in China, it says on there. So, you know, it is what it is on that. That's probably how they get the price so low. And yeah, but so I'll just finish the video with this thing on. Okay. One last time. Fit the ears into place where I want them. Slide this strap through. Okay. And bow. So if you're thinking about competing and you're in the United States, keep in mind the sanctioning body, IKF, is going to require you to wear headgear. And if it's full contact Muay Thai, they will require you to wear open face headgear. So anything with cheek guards is a no-go. And you don't want to have a loose sliding, big, bulky boxing headgear on, because now all this stuff, you know, it might get turned around, it might get hit down, it might get, you know, moved around. This is not going to move on you. It's going to stay locked onto your head, okay? So, yeah, that's what I would have to say. Again, if I spar on this and it sucks and it's nothing like the top 10 I used in competition, I'll make another video. I'll delete this one and tell you that, hey guys, I misstepped in this last video. It doesn't perform as good, but it feels the exact same. It looks the exact same from what I can remember. And, you know, it's just a good competition headgear that Sentry is making now. And I think a lot more brands would be smart to start making this style headgear, putting their own little flair on it, you know, because this is the way. If you watch Point Muay Thai competitions, PKB competitions, this is the way. And even like me, full contact, fully sanctioned, with knockouts, the whole thing, Muay Thai competitions, these are becoming more and more popular. And this is not a trend. This is just what makes the most sense right now, because this is as far as technology's pushed itself in the sport. So if you have any questions, I will link this one down below. If you have any questions, shoot them down in the comments. Thank you for watching the most trash show on YouTube, Garage Goons, and we are out of this bitch.